Welcome to episode, let's see, is this 33?
33.
32.
32.
32. Okay, yeah.
He's in the 30s.
Yeah, we're in the 30s somewhere, but welcome to the episode 32 of the Play It By Ear podcast. We are broadcasting live simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, now Twitter, in addition through the Periscope app. And
around the world.
Around the world, yes. And Twitch. So we're broadcasting to all these places. So we welcome you in whatever venue or whatever app you're using to watch us currently. So I want to say thank you and welcome to my compatriots. Is Todd? I think Todd's frozen again.
That's okay. We'll wait till he's unfrozen.
Well, I'll say hi to you, Brady.
Hi, Aric.
Hi. So there now we have frozen, and that's the second time that's happened.
It does it every time, right at the beginning, right?
It does. It's always at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kicking your frozen self out of the studio.
Frozen.
Let it go.
There we go. All right. So there. Now we're in order, right?
In order.
In order. Hello, Todd. I didn't formally say hello to you.
Good evening.
Todd Griffin finally with us, frozen and unfrozen. So who do we have in the room? Melody Wilkin is here. She's the only one that's commented so far. Looks like we have 11 people. Comment.
11.
Say hi.
It There's goes Melody. To 11.
Hi, Melody.
Hello, Melody.
And while we're waiting for people to chime in, we'll do the housekeeping duties here. First of all, on audio, we will be releasing audio episodes on Friday mornings. You can find those on anchor.fm/play-by-ear-podcast, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app, and most anywhere you can find your podcast. And right now there's probably 15 different providers that you can find those.
You have no excuse. There's an outlet.
Find us most anywhere. On YouTube, you can search Play By Ear Podcast, follow our channel. Like I said, we are broadcasting to YouTube currently. And that is a change now. We're not going to reissue a video. It will just be there on the videos when you go to our channel. So what you see now is what you'll see on YouTube later if you will watch it later. Social media, most of you watching on Facebook, search Play By Ear Podcast there. Twitter, if you're watching on Twitter, welcome through the Periscope app. That is at Play It By Ear Pod number 2. And on Instagram, we are at Play It By Ear Podcast with underscores under all those words. Interact with us by email, playitbyearpodcast2020@gmail.com. You can also leave a voice message. Click the link at your podcast provider, whatever that provider may be. And finally, if you want to support what we do financially, and again, I come hat in hand, which is not my best thing to do. So if you all would like to chime in, please do in my hat in hand message.
Yeah.
You look like he's going to say something.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start it off. We subscribe to some software that makes this possible for your enjoyment and, well, let's be honest, our enjoyment too. But it provides the mix down and makes it all possible. It's the technology that makes it go. And there's a monthly subscription, and any kind of little bit that you could help keeps this operation running smoothly. We're not out to make our livings on this, but if we can keep this, relatively cost neutral, we can keep the hits coming, and we can keep coming to you in multiple different formats and live and remotely during this whole crisis of Corona. So, there's multiple reasons. So please, if you care to, you can leave some pittance and some shillings if you would, and we could keep this going.
I would like to chime in. Hello, Jerry and Howard, Kirsten. Welcome, Kyle. One thing Howard's mentioned that merch will generate cash. And we have been talking about that. We've been talking about merch, T-shirts, mugs, hats. Once again, any any small donation to help and get that rolling would help us as well. So again, we're not looking to make money off this. We're not looking to, retire from the education world and become professional podcasters. But
this is funding my retirement cottage in Belize.
under a palm tree.
Under a palm tree.
All right, so that's our financial pitch. You might hear one more at the end, but there's the link if you'd like to do that. We'd appreciate it. So there's Howard William, welcome. Kyle is
Mr.
with us.
Brewer.
Jerry Stroop, welcome. My mother-in-law. Hello, Diane.
I look like confectionery maize. I went with the candy corn fall flannel today.
I want to say I'm craving some candy corn for some reason.
Indeed.
Only the good kind, though, that has the brown. You got to go.
So does that mean we have viewers from Japan right here? Is that what that means?
We do. Domo arigato, Amber.
Hi.
Hey, which, by the way, well, Amber has some big news that I didn't know if I could share yet. But if she gives me the okay, I will share it. But anyway,
Kirsten,
live
there are no boys here, Kirsten.
We're all man.
Only men.
Man folk. Burly.
Now you're a man.
Josh Michael with us.
Well, man.
Is it the way he fights every day?
Oh, we're going way off the rails. Okay, so the way this thing works, if you have not been with us before, each of us come to the table with a topic. We are in order on the screen as to where we will present our topics. Brady is first. I am second. Todd is rounding out the show with his topic. And we talk 20 minutes on each topic. And it's kind of organic. We have not talked about these things other than just to tell each other what we're doing. And that's kind of the extent of it. And you'll hear the first conversation. So with that, Brady.
All right. This organic, non-GMO topic. All right. It is fall. And with the fall, it implies harvest and festivals in our neck of the woods. And I am going with the top weird festivals from around the world. This should be fun. This will be amusing. This is going to get some comments going. So I got to just start you off by putting a couple toes in the pool, in the water, literally here in a second. But so I will start you off to get those mental juices flowing. Conversational topicking. I just made a word, topicking. But anyway, number 10 is the Argungu Fishing Festival. As it is described, that's Argungu in Nigeria.
How do you spell that?
Argungu. Argungu.
Argungu.
Sounds manly.
Yeah.
As a spectator activity, fishing usually leaves a lot to be desired, but at the Argungu Fishing Festival in Nigeria, it's far more spectacle than you could ever imagine. At the firing of a pistol, hundreds of men storm into the shallow Malan Fada River and catch fish using nets, gourds, or their bare hands. The man with the largest fish wins the day. Since fishing is banned except for this one day in the spring, interesting. I'd like to know why it is banned. But anyway, it is banned except for this one day. The winning catches have topped 160 pounds. So
I would love to see a barehanded catch with 160-pound fist.
I don't think it means. So one fish was 160 pounds, or that was their total take?
No, that's one fist.
Okay. So how do you catch a fist with a gourd?
I would say very carefully would be my ambiguous answer, but it's kind of like you probably like if you can imagine like a cap, just pinning it into the water. Maybe you smack it on the noggin.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if you get some of those like catfish that have those sharp fins, I mean, that could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Or a crappie. People noodle. That's a thing.
Oh, wait a minute. This is a family show. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Have you seen the noodlers where they just, I think it's what it's called. They just they just get into a body of water and reach into a muskrat den or something, or a Oh.
I have
some sort of varmint tunnel and pull out a catfish.
I have seen videos of that, and I literally go weak in the knees because it's murky, dark water. It's like sticking your hand into an unknown crevice where anything with sharp teeth could be lurking, be it fish or muskrat. And that just literally makes me queasy. The thought of people doing that catfish thinking, like Aric said, they've got some sharp barbs around their mouths.
Barbs.
Howard says a 160-pound fish might try to eat a gourd and you reel it in. Possibility.
That's true.
I've seen on videos and on shows people noodling, and they can drown you. I mean, it's not just a matter of getting bitten or attacked by you get to tussling with a 70, 80-pound catfish and
one of those Amazonian Arapaho or whatever they're called, the devilfish. Yeah, that's craziness. So
I have a whole porch full of gourds. We can go fishing afterwards.
Yes, we'll hit Lake Winoka, make the Winoka our Gungu festival, shoot the pistol, and then we're swinging gourds. Like, I wonder if they ever.
So it's going to be an all-male fishing trip.
Hey, I don't know where you swing your gourd, but
just a bunch of swinging gourds.
All right, so let's go to number 9. Here we go. It is the Boryong Mud Festival. According to the Boryong Health Life Company, mud is great for your skin, specifically the Boryong mud used in their mud cosmetics. To convince a doubtful populace, the company established the Boryong Mud Festival on Daejeon Beach in Korea, where participants get down and dirty in the local mineral-laden mud. The festival has become a hit with the Korean expat population. A variety of mud-themed activities take place, from mud photography, mud massages, and there is a dip in the sea with sea salts to wash the mud off of you. So basically, it's a festival where you roll in the mud.
Mud photography.
That's pretty talented mud. Frame that shot and hit the button.
Yeah.
How do you spell Boryong?
Bory.
My name is Mud.
EONG, Boryong Mud Festival, ladies and gentlemen. Rolling like swine, we do.
Wow. Yeah, I would worry. I know mud is supposedly good for your skin, but I worry what's in the mud that is not good for your body.
It says it's minerals.
Well, I mean, it could be all kinds of microscopic parasites.
Tapeworms or hookworms.
Yeah.
You could roll around in the mud and enter an orifice.
Yeah, those little tiny, speaking of catfish, I believe the world's tiniest catfish is in the Amazon or something, and it can swim into your orifices.
Hey, you got to cut out that mud vein.
Good eating. Todd, that thing that you were just talking about, is that the one like you're not supposed to urinate in the water because it could swim up your urethra?
Yeah. If you're not careful, it'll swim right up your urethra Franklin.
Yeah. I've heard about that. That's a real thing.
Stop.
Yes.
I assume you're in the water. It's not swimming up the stream, so to speak, is it?
No, you're not peeing alongside the bank by a tree, and it doesn't do the flying fish thing and leap out of the water and swim toward your pee stream and up your urethra. No, it's if you kind of pee in not the pool literally, but like the stream.
So why would your urethra be subject to a worse breach when you're peeing when you're not?
I'm not a doctor.
I assume it'd be just like riding a motorcycle with your mouth open.
Yeah. Aric, I'm not a doctor, but I think that when one urinates, their urethra opens, or otherwise it can't come out.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
I thought the bladder opened, not the urethra.
Well,
the urethra is kind of open already, isn't it? So to speak.
Know.
I don't think mine is, but I'm just saying that that like on
Just
to the next
not
festival.
on. Yes, move on.
Move on.
Well,
Let's
you got to. Well, plus, wouldn't you have to be naked for that to happen in the water? Can't go through material.
go
Can
up a
it? I mean,
leg.
yeah,
See,
I don't
there
know.
you go. Howard has it. It's the dilation of the penile sphincter muscle
Ew.
because the
Thank
urethra
you.
is already open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bottom line, keep your gourd in your pants.
Yes.
Yeah,
When
so
you're at the Boryong Festival.
there's a lesson to
Okay.
be learned.
Number 8, Aric, this will be easy to spell. This is the Cooper's Hill cheese rolling and wake.
You had
Cooper
me at
Hill-
cheese.
You had the cheese? The Cooper Hill cheese roll has become quite a famous event world over, but that hardly makes it at least a bit strange. To recap, an official takes a 7-pound round of double Gloucester semi-hard cheese and tosses it down a dangerously steep hill, whereupon the competitors hurl themselves after it, flailing, rolling, and crashing and flying toward the bottom until one lucky athlete latches onto the cheese and raises it above his or her head in triumph. A team of local rugby players is positioned at the bottom of the hill to halt the descents of now out of control competitors. The grand prize, the round of cheese.
What kind of cheese?
Good question.
It was, I think I answered that. It's double Gloucester semi-hard cheese.
There may be certain kinds of cheese I'd fight for. I don't know if I'd fight for that cheese or not.
Give me a nice smoked Gouda, and I'll fight anybody.
Yes. Okay. The dad joke game is strong. When one competitor holds the cheese over their head after somebody has dropped it, I wonder if one of the other competitors say, "Hey, that's nacho cheese."
And speaking of which, Howard just chimed in with his own dad joke there. Gouda question, Aric Fiscus.
Wah, wah.
Good question.
So I can't remember if I sent you guys the text the other night of the cheese where the maggots crawl out of it. Did I send that to you guys?
I don't recall it. I think I would.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's some sort of cheese where I guess maggots not only crawl out of it, but they leap out of it. So you have to shield your eyes when you're eating this cheese because the maggots can leap into your eye.
That sounds like a dare. That sounds like
I'm gonna
movie.
find it here. I want to find Aric. I want you to share it on the screen if I can find it. I don't know what you would Google. Maybe maggot. I'd be careful Googling anything with maggots in it.
So we got fist crawling up urethras and we got maggots jumping into eyes.
Yeah. I hate a maggot.
I'm not a big fan of a maggot.
This is definitely. Hey, after 3rd grade, I never want to see maggots again. Aric is okay. So while we're waiting for Aric to pull up this picture, or somebody to pull up this picture in 3rd grade, one of our 3rd grade classmates at Sardinia Elementary, for some inexplicable reason, put some peas from the cafeteria in a baggie and kept them in his desk for a snack and forgot about them over the weekend.
Just regular peas?
Yeah, just like peas, like green peas. And when we came back to school the next Monday, there was all these maggots all over the room and the desk.
Oh.
Like in the span of like 2 days, flies had laid their eggs in there and they had hatched, and the maggot menace had been unleashed on Sardinia Elementary's 3rd grade.
So I'll read this to you and then I'll send it. Or maybe you can just Google it. It says Casu marzu.
I got it.
Oh.
What is that I'm looking at? Hang on.
Casu marzu, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but that doesn't show the maggots.
They're right there on the edge.
Ooh, that's
I
maggots?
see them.
How can you tell chi from maggot?
You can't.
You can. That makes it dangerous.
That's the adventure.
Let me read this to you. It says Casu marzu is a Sardinian cheese that contains live maggots. The maggots can jump up to 5 inches out of cheese while you're eating it, so it's a good idea to shield it with your hand to stop them from jumping in your eye. Don't get that in your eye.
Ew.
Who thought that was a good idea?
A
Like, who's the
good
first person? You know
idea.
what's gonna make my
Wow.
you know what's gonna make my cheese better? Forget about bacon bits. Forget about that. I want maggots.
I
That
don't
was
know
a
that.
conversation somebody had to have.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that it happened I don't know that people put the maggots in there.
The maggots just find their way to
I
the
don't know that it
cheese.
was an idea.
People just ate them after they were there.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, protein.
I just texted it to you guys. The picture I sent's a little more up close and personal.
Okay, so we're now leaving cheese wheels and maggots, and we are going to. Let me get through the clickbait here. We are going to the Noche de Rabaños, literally translated the Night of Radishes, which may sound like a particularly terrible B horror movie, but in reality, it's a delightful Christmas time celebration that occurs December 23rd. It features intricately carved radish sculptures. The tradition began when local radish growers began carving their produce in order to attract customers. Some of these radishes can weigh up to 7 pounds, and it's in Oaxaca, Mexico.
Oaxaca.
That's a big radish.
That is a big radish. So
I do not like rat eye. I don't like radishes.
I've never liked them. I've tried before, but I've always heard radishes associated that they give people indigestion. Like,
Really?
yeah,
They kind of have an odd thing going on because they almost have a burning sensation when you eat them.
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Which is, it's spicy, but it's not.
Because so
It's
does what is it? Cabbage, kind of.
Yes.
Yes. So people can. So if you want to go to Oaxaca, Mexico, and participate in radish carving, that is your huckleberry or your radish, if you will. Okay.
Hold on, Brady.
Yes. What do we got?
We got
Radishes.
It's a creepy way to say it. What do you want? What do you want in your salad, Crypt Keeper?
There it is. Oh my goodness!
Ooh.
Look at that! Look at that!
No. You can't.
Yeah.
I cannot be expecting ornately carved radishes, and you hit me with cheese maggots.
Well, here's what I don't understand. Your basic maggot can't just jump off the ground. How can they jump out of cheese? Does the cheese act as a trampoline? Is it a launching pad of some sort? How does it leap 5 inches off the cheese?
Maybe Sardinian maggots are better jumpers.
Oh,
as you said, Brady. We've seen Sardinian maggots.
Yes, we have.
I don't remember them jumping though.
I want to see a
gotta-
video. I want to see a video of the maggot jumping out of the cheese.
I do
When
not.
we find it, we will post it.
Kirsten loves a good radish, by the way.
All right.
So what,
Sorry, go ahead.
Kirsten? If you don't mind me asking, Kirsten, what do you do with your radish? Like, do you put it in soup? Do you eat it raw? Do you eat it as a part of a salad?
Do you carve it?
You salt it.
Well,
I don't know.
We'll-
Maybe she'll
we'll
get
wait-
back with us an answer.
Wait for her to answer.
Yeah.
yes.
And Howard says we've seen Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Now you can have Massacre of the Munster Maggots.
And
Yeah.
interestingly enough, he said that before you mentioned the radish, and then you mentioned how the radish something sounds like a B horror movie, and he had just
Yes.
mentioned Howard is on it tonight.
He is on it.
So
And-
now, Todd, your wife likes a pickled radish. Have you not had pickled radishes in your house?
I try not to get anywhere near her when she's eating a pickled radish. I don't know. Yeah, or pickled anything for that matter. I like pickles, but I don't like other food pickled.
I only like my cucumbers pickled.
You have to have them as nouns, not verbs.
I'm pickled
So,
tink.
Pickled.
T-shirt.
So Kirsten says salad or raw with ranch.
With ranch dressing.
Everything's better with ranch. I will give you that.
Absolutely. You can ranch anything.
It's white, therefore I will not eat it.
You don't eat ranch either?
Ew, no.
You are the
I
devil.
can't stand the smell of it.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
There's something wrong with you.
yeah.
There is.
So radishes allegedly reduce cholesterol, according to Howard.
Well, he's an EMT. He would know.
He would.
So if aspirin is not available, if somebody's having a cardiac event, they can just pop a radish in their mouth. so it might work.
Moving
Okay,
on.
let's leap to our next subject. There's a good lead in. The number 6 is the Rain, Rayne, the Rain Frog Festival, billed as totally awesome by the festival's organizing committee. Despite an apparent lack of toads involved, the Rain Frog Festival nevertheless delivers on the promises every fall. The festival features all things frog races, frog jumping, and the selection of the Frog Derby queen, and naturally lots of Cajun-style frog legs to eat. The self-proclaimed frog capital of the world also showcases local, regional, and national music talent, and it has frog-themed runs, fairs, and other activities. To be sure, if you are into frogs, there's no place better than in November than Rain, Louisiana.
Nice. Last year's headline was the Toadies.
Wah, wah.
I come from the water.
Bong, bong.
How much froggery can there be?
I hate a damn frog. I tell you,
So you
I
hate
don't
a
like it
damn
either.
radish and you hate a damn
and a
frog.
frog. Well, here's the thing, though. I'm betting. Why do I instantly? The first thing I picture at this festival is an annoying man with a microphone yelling and ringing a damn bell, and you're trying to guess which frog is going to go into the hole or whatever. It's like the.
Is that what happened? Is that what happened when the
Ooh.
rat died? They replaced it with a frog.
Yeah, I hate to harken back to an older episode, but I don't know that I've seen Brady so angsty as when we talked about the rat man from the
rat
Friday
barker.
Founders Day. Brady wanted
Yeah.
to open up a can of whoopus on the rat guy.
Yeah, he was always yelling and mocking people like he had some kind of secret knowledge of the universe, when actually he was a rat barker.
That's
My-
what barkers do.
Joyce
That's
Wagner.
true.
Hello, Joyce Wagner. That is the Joyce Wagner, my favorite teacher of all time.
Oh, cool. Welcome aboard.
Hello, Joyce.
Okay. Now, moving on from frogs to this one amused me greatly. This is the Naki Sumo Festival, Naki Sumo Festival.
Hey,
Nagai. Two giant sumo wrestlers step into a ring looking as tough as they are massive, and they square up to each other threateningly. Each is holding an infant. The goal of each sumo wrestler,
whoop. Sorry.
that's okay. Was that,
That's our time.
Oh, that was our time?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
We got time. We got
time because
We
this
got
is going to be worth it.
time.
What is the job of these two sumo wrestlers holding infants? This may sound like a setup for either a disaster or comedy in the minds of most, but to the Japanese parents handing over their babies to the giant wrestlers, it's an effort to bring good luck. So what are they trying to do? Each sumo wrestler is trying to make the baby that the other is holding cry. So they try to frighten the baby to tears.
So I wouldn't think that would be that hard.
Well,
Since
it
babies
gets
tend to cry
better.
a lot. Okay.
Yeah, this last sentence. And what if the kids don't cry? The referee steps in wearing a terrifying mask to make sure that no infant goes psychologically unharmed for the day. So if the 600-pound man menacingly glaring at this infant doesn't make it cry, send in the person with a jigsaw mask. Man.
How is that allowed to go on in today's day and age?
I don't. Well, I mean, think of haunted houses. I mean, they make babies. Well, shoot, think of Jack in the Box manufacturers. They made a living off terrifying and psychologically scarring children.
Well, here I thought that a sumo wrestler's only pathway to stardom was sumo wrestling. I didn't realize that they could, also they had a side gig as a baby scarer.
Even the Yokozuna gets to scare a baby every now and then.
Nice.
So, all right. Do I have time to go quickly?
I say so.
Go ahead.
Eric's
Hey,
Eric's the head cheese.
The head
So to
cheese,
speak, but,
the maggots. There is the wife carrying championship, and I cannot pronounce it, but it's in Finland.
We
It's
talked
a
about
long
this, didn't we?
Finnish city.
Wasn't this
Um,
on the weird sports thing?
I believe it was.
It might have been. It might have been. But they had to carry their wives 253.5 meter obstacle course. So there you go.
I got an idea. What we're going to start
Uh-oh.
right here in right here in southwestern Ohio, the husband carrying
There we
championship.
go. Now we're talking.
Now we're
That would
talking.
now that would be entertaining.
Yes.
We're about Title IX
And
equality.
by the
We
way,
wanna
I
share it.
just teed it up for all you lovely ladies to say I've been carrying my husband for years.
Wah, wah.
So
Ah.
I gave you a
Okay.
freebie.
Okay, number 3 was the Baby Jumping Festival, which is located in Castilla de Murcia, Spain, where it has for 400 years men dressed as devils have been jumping over babies in this small town to cleanse them of their sin and evil spirits. So if the infant was born in the last 12 months, they are set on a mattress throughout the town, and people dressed as devils incarnate leap over them.
So my first question was going to be a baby jumping contest. Do people jump babies, or do you try to get babies to jump, or do you hook up battery cables to babies?
I'll tell you one word. Satan.
Satan?
Satan.
Kirsten is terrified by Jacks in the Box. Is Jack in the
would it
Box?
be-
Or Jack's in the Box?
Jack's in the box or Jack? Jack's in the box or Jack
That's a
in the
good
box?
question that George Carlin would have liked. What's the plural for Jack in the Box? Jack's in the box?
Jack's in the boxes.
What's the plural for hell of a guy?
Man. Number 2 is the Moose Dropping Festival, where moose poop is shellacked, painted, and turned into crafts, and that is in Tequita, Alaska. So where I say crap, that is true. It is true. Moose poop ornamentation.
Yes, we've been talking about that for years.
I was going to
Yes.
say, I mean,
I stand by it. I've said that if you break a twig off a tree and put a gingham ribbon on it, you could sell it as a craft to some unsuspecting suburbanite.
yeah.
That's
I've
a
been looking for a side gig. All I need to do is shellap a moose nugget and or shellac, not shellap, shellac.
Shallak.
That's a whole different problem.
I will shellac you.
That sounds like something that Curly said to Mo. All right. And then number 1, which will be very relevant considering something we talked about earlier. This is the Blackawton International Festival of Worm Charming. In southeastern England, teams are given a square meter of land and in the middle of the field, tasked with charming as many worms as possible to the surface from their soily lair in 15 minutes. Strategies vary wildly. From there's different strategies. The only rule is you can't dig them out.
I know the song.
You can play a song, a beat. You can put a melody on a loop.
There's a place in France where we make the night crawlers dance. There's a hole in the wall. Sorry.
Where the
I've
creepy
never heard
crawlers
that
crawl.
Where the fish and bait crawl.
Yes. Wait a minute. Others sprinkle water on the ground to replicate a soft spring rain. All of where are the punishment for cheating is getting to put in you get put in the stocks, where your head and arms and people throw rotten fruit at you. So it's part of the gag of this festival. If anybody gets caught cheating, they get put in the stockade.
Wow.
So the Worm Charming Festival. All I can see is
Man.
Pepe Le Pew standing over a thing of it. You look so beautiful tonight. It is not a spark. It is a big roaring flame worm.
A flame. A big roaring flame.
Burning. Burning.
I don't think Pepe ever rolled his arms that much. Roaring.
That's not Pepe Le Pew. That's Tom.
I know.
That's Tom.
That's right. That's right.
Zoot
yeah.
Suit Tom.
Zoot Suit Tom.
episode.
Yeah. My bad.
I can feel it now. It is not just a little spark. So anyway, that's a pretty interesting festival. So if you wanted to, you could Google it and you can plan your trip around the world based on these weird festivals. From scaring babies with sumo wrestlers to jumping over them dressed like the devil to charming worms. or
Nice.
trying to tackle a cheese wheel. We aim to please.
Or trying to coerce a frog to jump in a hole.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I'm not getting all the comments on here, but I will
probably frighten them off.
Well, no, by the way, you can comment on our live here, and I can post the comments if you like. But for some reason, one of Howard's comments didn't make it up, but I will highlight it because it's very true, as the three of us will agree. Sardinian maggots leap higher than Russellian maggots.
Well, yeah, because they're carried by the power of the Zephyr.
Exactly.
Carried by the power of the Zephyr.
Which is a light westerly breeze.
Sounds like a Europe song.
The power of the Zephyr.
Why were we always led to believe that was a tornado when it's actually a light westerly
it's essentially
breeze?
A goat fart.
Now, Katrina Wagner takes issue. Katrina, you are a Sardinian.
No, she wasn't.
Well, never mind. Never mind.
Well, you could have been.
You could have been.
You could have come to the light side.
Right.
Instead
What's
you
a
stayed on the
rambler
dark
anyway?
side. Yeah, what is a rambler?
She is the principality of Russellville. She is the...
Someone could have been born a rambling man, I guess. I don't know what that means. But
yes, she could ramble on from this topic. Ha!
Katrina
See what I did there?
Yeah,
Oh,
Katrina,
man.
you're a Sardinian at heart, right, Josh? Josh, you got to chime in.
So we've talked previously, we're going to move on the topics, but there's all kinds of weird festivals, from the Bologna Festival in Ohio to
the Sauerkraut Festival.
Sauerkraut Festival and the Testicle Festival. It's a real thing.
Yeah. I hear you'll have a ball if you go there.
A ball or two.
Yeah. I believe their specialty is sack lunch.
Wow! Oh.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
I think their slogan is "Tain't never been happier."
Oh, moving on.
Come on now, we can keep going.
Let's
with
pitch
this.
and roll away from this topic. Oh my.
Oh. Well,
we're professional entertainers here.
See, now look. She was a Sardinia person. What are you people yelling at me for?
I didn't yell at you. That was Brady.
Sardinia cheerleader. I remember that.
No. Okay.
Nice, Kyle. Kyle chimed in with his own.
Oh my.
Now, Celia says a rambler is one that rambles up and down the court.
Whatever.
Mm.
Whatever.
Moving on.
Rambling on. All right, Aric.
Okay, so I am in topic number 2. Topic number 2 is our big return to Am I the Asshole?
Oh, favorite.
Oh, yeah. So what I didn't know in between the last time we did this and now is that Am I the Asshole has a Twitter feed.
Cool.
You can see stories about or asking questions on Am I the Asshole all the time. So
yes.
Just went to the Twitter feed. So again, people on Facebook, feel free to chime in. We give our 2 cents worth as to the person in this story, if they are or they are not. But certainly you can chime in as well, because we would love to have your opinion. So if you're not familiar, the way this works is people get on a social media site called Reddit. And it's basically a old-time bulletin board. That's what we called them when we were Utes. But they get on there and they type out scenarios, and then they ask, basically, am I a bad person for having done what I did? So we read the stories, and then we give our 2 cents worth as to whether they are or aren't.
We pass judgment.
So I was telling Brady, I didn't get a chance to tell Todd, but this first one here, there are, of course, I saw we have some female listeners here or viewers right now, and this probably will
Get some dander up.
yeah, it will elicit an opinion amongst certainly our female viewers here. So
we're just reading the stories. It's not us.
Stories. We of course will put our 2 cents worth in, but I'll give you the title and I'll read the story here, the scenario. So the title is AITA for
anus
for quote shooshing and whistling at my significant other.
This isn't going to go well.
So here's the scenario. Sometimes when I ask my girlfriend a question and she doesn't respond after a few seconds, I'll give a quick whistle to get her attention. They're not mean blowhorn whistles, but similar to the quick light whistle notification you'd get from a phone.
I typically go, "Auga."
Yeah, usually this happens when she's looking down at her phone, presumably reading Reddit or texting. Usually she looks up after my whistle and answers my question without me needing to repeat it. And occasionally when my girlfriend asks a question, I'll give her a quick, quote, shh, unquote. Only if I'm already listening to something and don't want to miss what's being said. E.g., I was watching the Lakers game and the broadcaster began telling a story I was interested in. From a different room, my girlfriend asked something about the story as soon as it was beginning to be told. So I gave her a quick shh. so that I could hear the story without missing any more of it. This led to her complaining about the shooshes and the whistles and led to a heated argument. Imagine that. She says the shooshes and the whistles are rude and I have to stop. I say not only are they polite and succinct, but it's rude of her to ignore my questions, leading me to the whistle. And rude of her to interrupt my already occupied ear holes, leading me to her. She says I need to respect her request because it's her emotions. I say she's searching for reasons to be upset, and we need to be able to have conversations about this kind of stuff before I give up whistles and shooshes for the rest of my life. She says I'm gaslighting her. AITA. Gentlemen,
Oh, man.
Pass.
I first off, I'll tackle it. I'm used to pissing people off. I don't like the term gaslighting. Given our political climate that we have sworn to not dip our big toe into, I'm not a fan of the term gaslighting. It goes right up there with mansplaining to me. I'm not a fan of that. So I'll say this though. If his woman's asking him a question and he shushes her, that's rude. Yeah. I'm not saying I've never done it, but it's rude when I do it and it's rude when he does it. But I also think that it depends on how the shush happens. If it's a situation where she sees that he's occupied, he's watching, he's listening to something, and then she commences to talk to him or ask him a question, I think the shush is a little more acceptable than if she just kind of comes in and doesn't realize, or he said yelled from the other room. Well, how is she knowing that how does she know that he is preoccupied, that he's listening to something else? So, I think maybe first off, in today's age, you just pause the TV and you say, hey, can this wait or whatever? And then you go back to it. But the whistling, I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like he's frustrated with her about the same exact thing that she does to him, or like he does to her what she does to him. Am I off in that thinking?
Words from my mouth, Todd.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like, go ahead, Brady. I'm stumbling over my words because I'm having a hard time.
He's not self-aware. He is accusing her of doing, and he's complaining about what he's doing. When he's distracted, she's watching Reddit. He's watching the Lakers game, and she's trying to give his attention. Instead of whistling, she's just like, honey, and then he responds with a shh.
I find that if you put your finger up and say shut your mouth, shut your mouth, shut your mouth, a la Will Ferrell. I find that works much better.
Or you could go with the dad on So I Married an Axe Murderer.
You knew it was coming, dude.
Shut it.
Shut the prayer. That goes well. The ladies love that.
What's our
Howard?
verdict?
Howard says that he needs to be self-aware and do unto others applies. Yeah, I agree. He's not very self-aware, but I also think it's one of those things where this is my typical go-to on these. Am I the asshole? It doesn't show a very strong relationship if this is like literally the breaking point. If this is like getting ready to end this relationship, it doesn't show a very strong relationship. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've been married almost 20 years, and if that is on the verge of breaking them up, then they need to go ahead and break up and get tougher skin and realize that, and I'm sorry, but it's time to.
Sometimes
Todd,
life whistles
if that
at
were the
you.
standard, you'd be on your fourth marriage by now.
Yeah, I don't think any successful marriage could be that.
As would I.
Yeah, I mean, I get shushed all the time. I've been known to shush. Every time I shush, I'm not accused of being a sexist jerk, and every time she shushes, I don't accuse her of being whatever, negative term towards her I could find. But it's part of just being in a relationship. I think there's some self-aware issues, and there's some also,
I'm with you. It's mildly annoying. But as Todd says, to be the catalyst for a breakup, might want to move on anyway.
Yeah.
I inadvertently whistled. It was a previous relationship I was in, and I thought the person, she was wearing headphones or like earbuds or something. I was looking at, because when I looked at her previously, she'd had them in, and I thought she still had them in, and I went, because it was time, like, don't whistle at me like I'm a pet. It's like, sorry, I didn't mean to whistle.
Sorry.
It's like, I was just like,
I don't use this term, and I don't like this term, but that's when you definitely are talking to a Karen, as the young people call it these days.
yeah,
I think I don't like that term because I think it's an insult to all the Karens I know that are really cool people.
really cool, but yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that whatever term you give that person, yeah, I'm sure they're fun at parties.
Yeah,
but I think I was always jealous of those people that could do the whistle, the real loud, and it echoes across the land. Yeah. Now that might be annoying.
If cartoon thing.
If every time you wanted to get her attention or talk, you did that, then maybe I could see that being annoying. But if it's just a simple,
Howard does bring up a good point there. It does depend upon the venue. If that happens in public, yeah, you're in trouble. You're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
Yes. So to continue my thought, yeah, that's gonna get to beat down. That's not good.
So
Mr. Haliface.
Josh said that whistle is a family tradition to gather the kids. Now, gathering the kids is one thing, but I mean, to your significant other, I mean, it's
like one of those Tarzan movie things.
Tarzan?
Try whistle to get things that rallies the animals that you want to summon.
So, what's the final verdict? Yay or nay? Asshole or not?
A little bit.
Null set.
Null set.
Null set. Maybe not an asshole, but maybe a hemorrhoid. Like a mild annoyance, but I don't know.
A hemorrhoid that can be treated with preparation H rather than surgery.
I'm going to I think they're both, like Todd said, null set, but the guy.
We're losing Brady.
Yes, we are.
Brady, are you there?
His eyes are
weird.
moving.
His eyes are moving. It's like he's in a haunted house.
It's like a creepy ass Mona Lisa painting.
Oh, well, okay. So I think we have the verdict there. So I'm in the interest of fair play. Oh, there he comes.
He's back.
He's back. He's back. And the rest of his body's moving, not just his eyeballs.
That was creepy.
That was very creepy. Yeah, you're back, kind of.
Yeah,
You're back.
that hasn't happened. It's okay.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure I'm okay.
Only your
You're
eyeball.
okay now.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you're there. You're there. Okay, so in the interest of fair play, we did a "Am I the asshole" for a male. Now this is a question from a female. Title being AITA for refusing to teach my boyfriend to do basic childhood or not childhood, basic household chores. Okay, so here's the deal. She's a 20-year-old female. Boyfriend is a 24-year-old male. We've been dating for a while and are thinking about moving in together. Right now, he still lives at home. I have my own apartment. The idea we'd find a bigger apartment together. Here's the problem. In a different conversation, he dropped, quote, "I'd like to wear a nice shirt out, but I don't know if my mom has done laundry yet," unquote. I was surprised and asked him if his mom always did his laundry. That's how this conversation started. Turns out his mom does everything, and I do mean everything. He can't cook anything, doesn't know how to clean anything, never had to budget his money. I told him I didn't want to move in with him until he could at least do the basic things. I'm scared of taking on the teacher/mom role in the relationship and not being able to escape it, if that makes sense. I told him that I enjoy cooking, and if he spends weekends here, I'd have no problem teaching him then, but that he needs to learn the basics of cleaning somewhere else, and maybe we should wait a bit before getting an apartment together. He doesn't like that at all. He's annoyed that I don't trust him to learn these things, and I don't want to teach him, so I must not care about him that much. I generally like him, but I'm pretty busy. I'd rather spend our time together hanging out than showing him how to vacuum or do laundry. Plus, I just don't enjoy taking on that role. AITA for not wanting to teach him and waiting or wanting to wait to move in until I know he can and will do some of those things. TLDR. Boyfriend doesn't know how to do any chores, wants to move in together so I can teach him. I don't. Edit. I suggested he ask his mom. He doesn't want to. He wants to move in together. Then we'll figure it out. That scares me. Edit number 2. I think I might be an asshole just based on his reaction, and not wanting to help someone seems asshole-ish. Edit 3. Going to sleep.
Good
Won't
God.
be replying to comments for a while, but thank you everyone who responded already. It's been helpful. So Chad McConaughey says, "Run."
Man, I was on her side until she just kept rambling on about this.
Yeah.
Honestly, all jokes aside, or all kidding aside, I was on her side until she used TLDWR or whatever. What does that mean?
TLDR.
I don't even know what that
not
means.
Sure. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Again, this is a common answer. If anyone has watched Am I the Asshole before, I typically say something like this. You guys are too immature to be thinking about a serious relationship. And I'll preface that with, if you're using TLDR or whatever that means as a way to communicate with people, I think that furthers that, my opinion on that. And it's, she has a good point. She really does. But again, I think it's just a matter of, could you maybe try showing him or something, I didn't hear in that he's just refusing to do. She's basically saying he doesn't do all this stuff already. And coming from someone who I will fully admit I was spoiled, I still am to an extent. And, but if she's saying that, hey, I don't want to show him this, or I don't want, he's refusing to do this, is different than saying, I just don't feel like I want to take on that role to show him how or help him. I think that's two different things.
I am interpreting this, it doesn't seem like the guy doesn't want to learn exactly. I think what the guy doesn't want, it sounds like this girl kind of wants to give him a master's class where she lords over him. And this is how we fold. And this is how we clean the counter. And this is how we put away the socks. And I don't think he wants to. I do you hear that voice? I hear her not being pleasant.
I am again, not the beast. I really do think she has a good point, and I think anybody listening would realize that she's asking for him to carry his weight, which there's nothing wrong with that. But she also isn't giving him any chance to do so. I mean, unless I'll be honest, I started nodding off a bit after her 14th edit, but she had a good point. But then by this whole thing, like, should I give him a chance? Yes, you should give him a chance. If you otherwise, then leave and don't even worry about it. But if you're considering whether you should give him a chance because of the way he's been raised, that's pretty bogus. I mean, if we all gave up on people for how they were raised, then it would be a pretty shitty society.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. Is there anything in her life that she doesn't know how to do that he does?
I'm sure.
So therefore, the give and take of a relationship would, theoretically speaking, say maybe he could teach her some things and she could teach him some things.
Yeah.
I bet she can't noodle a catfish.
Always three sides to every story, as the Extreme album from 1991.
Great album, by the way.
Great album.
Very underrated album.
Very.
So I'm thinking the truth lies maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe more towards her side, but somewhere in the middle.
But do you feel like, because what were they, 24 and 25? Or was that?
No, she was 20 and he was 24.
Yeah.
So that might explain the 5 edits.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to sound like an ageist, but I
but you will.
But I will. No, but I'm just saying. I think you're too young.
Okay, boomer.
You're too. Oh, yeah. That's you're too young, because again, like Aric said, it's give or take. It's give and take, and we're only hearing one side of this, which is the whole point of "Am I the asshole?" You don't normally hear the other side. But I really do think that anybody would listen and say, yes, you have a point. You don't want, you would definitely want to make sure that he's contributing, and it's a give take. It's a 50-50, whatever you want to call it. But she's not asking, she's not saying, I've tried everything I can. We've been together for 3 years or whatever. She's saying, hey, this is something I'm thinking about before becoming serious. And I don't know if I want to help him become the person I want him to be. I don't know. It's right.
So I'm disappointed that none of our female viewers or listeners have chimed in on either one of these stories, because I thought for certain it would elicit a reaction.
Kick the nest a little bit.
Now, Howard says she is not an a-hole. She sounds like a very intelligent person who needs to take out the trash and move on. Adam Bolander is incredulous that he can't run a vacuum. Now, Adam can run a whole combine. And this guy just got it back.
Hey, this has come to mind. Like, she really gave general tasks that he didn't know how to do, but not specifically. She didn't say run a vacuum. I mean, if he can't, I don't know. I'm waiting for Mel Allen to chime in. But I love me some Mel Allen, by the way. But anyway, they didn't say vacuum. It didn't say do we know exactly? Do we know, like, can he wash certain clothes on delicate cycle and then hang them the proper way and steam iron? Like, are we getting real specific stuff, or just like, hey, this guy doesn't know how to throw socks in a washer?
It almost seemed like it was just as much I don't know if he's going to be able to complete tasks to my specs, as much as it was I don't know if he's going to be able to help out around the house. That's kind of the vibe I was getting. And again, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to sound like an old,
fuddy-duddy.
An old fuddy-duddy. But I just feel like if you're, which defeats the purpose of the game, but if you're taking this to Reddit to ask other people's advice on whether you should give a person a chance or not, you're probably not ready to give that person a chance anyway. Yeah, good point, Chad. He doesn't.
That is a good point.
Yeah. But how old was he, Aric?
He was 24.
Okay. Say there's not. He wouldn't be the first person in the early 20s or early 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s to not be able to budget their own money, though. So it's one of those things. Again, is he willing to learn? I think that's.
And they don't have to move in to get, like, they could work on the relationship. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing, but it sounds like she's kind of making it an all or nothing. Hell, man, I just don't have a good feeling either way. Like, she has her points, but unfortunately, I'm hearing a tone, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just a certain vibe that I'm getting, and I'm attaching a character to this. Like I said, that you do not know how to fold these properly. I don't know.
Now, Howard made the comment that your voice of authority always defaults to a British accent. I didn't take that as a British accent. I thought it was something Eastern European.
It was a little more.
I am not amused. My name is Helga. You must fold these down properly. Is that better?
A little more freaky deaky Dutch, if you ask me.
All right. So here is the female perspective.
Thank you, Amber.
Thank you, Amber.
She's really serious about him. She would give him the chance to learn. If she isn't, then she should move on.
Yeah, I agree.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Some U.S. Navy wisdom right there. And some Amber wisdom.
Yeah, I feel like one thing I would like to point out to our listeners is, we kind of made a pact that we would never get too serious with this. That's why we don't talk politics. That's why we don't talk, we don't get into religion. We don't get into things that are highly debatable.
We talk about jumping maggots.
Yeah, but this is probably the closest we get to getting our, as Brady would say, our how do you put it, Brady? Our ruffle,
our dander up.
Our dander up. Yeah, this is probably as close to as we get to getting our dander up. Would you guys agree that Am I the Asshole kind of tends to bring out a little more emotion than
a little dander?
But it's never serious. It's never serious. I don't take sides on this.
So Becky McConaughey says she had 2 kids by the age of 24, so he needs to get on with it.
Kudos, Becky.
Valid point. Yeah, valid point.
I didn't get to be a dad till I was in 40s, thank God. Because at 24, that would have been not so good.
To his room in his mommy's basement and has seen the filth and mess he makes.
You're talking.
Now, that is a point. There might be, that there could be something that we don't know. So, but
you're talking to to the king of the late bloomers in myself as far as that goes. You're looking at a guy who didn't, figure out what he wanted to be until he was in his 30s. So, I just, again, I feel like if you're saying you're not willing to give this guy a chance and at least talk to him. I mean, she, as far as I'm taking it, she's never even talked to him. She's never even, asked him what he's willing to do.
She's of the things to get on Reddit.
Most of the things she's talking about wouldn't even, probably are things that he would pick up pretty easily. But
well, has she asked him? Because it seemed like she had, and maybe he wasn't interested. I don't know.
Yeah, that's some context that's pretty important. If she spoke to him and she's kind of the same thing she's taken to Reddit, if she's taken to him and he's like, nah, I'm just not interested in it, then she needs to move on. But if
maybe
it's a matter,
she needs to move in with Reddit.
If she's sizing him up based on how his mom raised him,
Yeah.
The old rule of thumb: if you think you should, you should.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of helicopter parents out there who probably aren't going to like her decision there.
Howard still does
more power to you, Howard. Age is just a number, my friend.
Indeed,
it is.
All right, so that's topic number 2.
Can we do one? We got time to do one more, don't we? Mine will be short tonight.
Oh, okay.
Let's do one more.
Sure. Let's
do one that doesn't get us, get our significant others pissed off at us.
Nothing gender specific.
Well, can we?
I told
situational.
You. I mean, it was, like I said, it was in the interest of fair play here. I did one of each.
Speaking of which,
Okay, so here's a good one. Here's a good one. I mean, we're all parents here. AITA for making my son give up these signifiers of wealth at school, aka designer clothes and sneakers, being driven in nice cars, because he was making fun of kids for being less wealthy than us. So here's the scenario.
Okay.
I'm a mother to a teenage boy. The father is hardly in the picture. He pays child support, and that's about it. He is very absent otherwise. Another relevant thing, I'm pretty well off. I work in tech. My son's father is extremely wealthy, and the court order for child support is enough to pay for the best for my son. He goes to a fairly competitive private school, is in a lot of extracurriculars that cost a decent bit, etc. I found out from school administration just this month that my son has been bullying several students for being less wealthy, for being dropped off at school in a budget sedan, for having name brand clothes that are not as expensive as other name brands. I was appalled by his behaviors. I had to talk with him about how wrong this was, and also about how it's not something he should have any personal pride in. He has no job, no savings, no investments, no wealth of his own. By total random chance, he happened to be born into good circumstances, and that's it. The school administration and I arranged an apology between him and all the kids he was bullying. I also decided this year that we're thrift shopping for clothes, no more brand name sneakers or clothes. Rather than driving him to school and activities in the Porsche or the Jaguar,
Wow.
I'm driving him everywhere in my 92 Jeep. That was one of my first cars that I mostly keep around for nostalgia and off-roading. It's really beaten up. I've rolled it, taken off the doors, tried to fix the paint with rattle cans at one point, young and dumb at that point. And
What's a
for
rattle can?
like spray paint.
Got it.
I pictured like cans hanging off the door.
Yeah,
rattling.
me too.
And for any activity he joins, he can borrow club equipment instead of getting his own bought. He was really upset about it all, especially being driven to school and activities in the Jeep. He said that it was causing problems with his friends. He was looking bad at school. His friends' parents didn't want their kids getting in such an old vehicle with no doors. He also said it was embarrassing for me to pretend he's poor. His dad, who overall has been very absent, got upset with me because apparently word had gotten around his circles that his son was being driven around town in a, quote, junker, unquote, and that I was making him use the club gear for sports instead of his own. And that was not a fair punishment because, quote, impressions matter, unquote, and it will affect the rest of his life. AITA for having this approach to parenting my son who was bullying kids for being poor. I don't buy him new designer things or drive him places in luxury cars anymore. We shopped at thrift stores, and if I'm taking him to school, I drive a car from 92.
I think that she's an excellent mom on 85% of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, on 85% of that.
This isn't black or white. There's a lot of gray area here.
Yeah. I am guessing that he is taking on some of his dad's personality a little bit. So this is a little bit of, might have been something that's been instilled in him from an early age. It's rearing its ugly head. That does not make him any less than a jerk. What he was doing was being a major butthead, and hearing it roiled me a little bit. But the only thing I'm going to disagree with her about a little, 1.5 things. The club gear, I don't know what he's participating in, but, do we want the kid not to have, his own shoes, hat? I don't know what that is, what that constitutes. It would be okay if they were playing polo and he's using the stable's horse. All right. But if he's having to use, do you see where I'm going with this? Like swimwear, I don't know what he's participating in.
Club
that might get a
swimwear?
little bit murky. That gets a little murky. I don't know what it is.
This is a tough one. I agree with Brady. I think there are some things. There are some things I think that she's doing a great job on, but Aric, could you go back to the part where she says she knocks the dad a couple times and talks about how he's not around,
absent,
which is obviously we all know that's in many ways, in most ways, that's him not being around is more harmful than the help that his monetary contribution.
right?
But what did it say about the dad is well off, and what did it say after that?
Son's father extremely wealthy. Court order for child support is enough to pay for the best for my son.
Okay, so in one hand, she's
later on that dad got upset because he heard around his circles that son was being driven to school in a junker.
Okay, so the first place I would blame would be the kid, for being a jerk and for making fun of anyone who is he deems lesser than. But I'm guessing up to this point there was no problem in the arrangement with the wealthy dad's money, providing him the finer things or whatever it said up until this point. So, I think it's kind of wrong to blame just the dad. I think she said in there that she's worried that he's going to be like the dad or start acting like the dad. She didn't have to be accepting, whatever it was that was providing all of these things for the wealthy life for this kid. Because it sounds like it went above and beyond basic needs of what he needs to,
She
clothes.
kind of helped create this monster.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with what she's doing is the fact that she's trying to place guilt on someone else rather than accepting any of it herself. I think she's doing a great job of making him aware that, hey, no matter how much money you have, you're no better than anyone else. But then again, I'm guessing that the money wasn't an issue up until this boy decided to be a
jerk.
A jerk, which again, he's a typical, everybody makes mistakes and kids can be that way. We all know that, but I just have a real problem with the way, kind of she's trying to place blame, and it's probably not going to help much if she's not willing to accept some of the blame herself.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, if she's clearly showing now that she didn't need the wealthy dad's money this whole time, or at least above and beyond what your typical food, room, board, things like that he would be providing for. It sounds like it was much more than that. She's showing now that she doesn't need it. So maybe it's a good lesson for both of them to learn that, if this dad's a jerk and he doesn't want to have anything to do with his kid, then, don't accept his above and beyond money and use it to drive whatever caused this kid to think he was superior to everyone else.
So perspective from the audience here. First of all, Howard says definitely not an a-hole. Son's being a douche. Needs to be brought down to earth.
A douche.
And once he's in touch with reality, he needs to earn his things back.
Well said, Howard. I like that.
Well
Yep.
Chad says he drove a Chevette that was his mom's, had to rumble the bus to school, which he later said was ride, not rumble, although I think rumbling the bus probably applies. So he's probably not a good person to ask. Now, Howard says his response comes from the perspective of a poor, not destitute kid who is made fun of, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, certainly we can get perspective here from who may have lived that.
Plus, I think this is like an onion. This whole
layers
session because I do think that she did a great job of, of realizing that her son was the bully in this aspect, in this case, and setting out to do something about it. And when many times people don't want to admit that their child is the one who is the being as the bully and not the one being bullied, but again, I think the whole idea is that this seems like this Reddit post is just as much a lashing out to the dad as it is a cry for help for how to help manage this situation with her son.
I've got a little bit of different perspective, not perspective, but a different take on this. I think when she was with the father, I mean, she said herself that she drives the Porsche or the Jaguar. Porsche and a Jaguar.
Jaguar.
So the Jaguar.
She's not going to accept any responsibility for this kid.
Right. And like being that's ostentatious. Trust me, if I had, I would like to have one of these nice cars, like one, but to have a fleet of a Jaguar and a Porsche.
You said it
And let's
wrong
not.
again. Jaguar.
Yes, sorry. And Jeeps aren't cheap. As a person that was in the auto market this summer, a Jeep is not an inexpensive vehicle at the moment. They're kind of a trendy thing that's supply and demand. That being said, I think from birth, when this kid hit preschool, he was probably wearing, you know, you know what I'm getting at here. This kid wasn't. They weren't even shopping at Dillard's. They were shopping at Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom's. And I think she probably laid this foundation. And then she realized she's creating a monster. Just because people have wealth and they like nice things does not make them a-holes. They could turn into them, though, and this kid was turning into one. So I think what has happened is that, and there was something that I kind of latched on there. I'm going to feel for the kid on one little thread here. I don't buy it at all that people are afraid to ride with him because there's no doors. Hogwash. I know that, I'm aware of people in Jeep culture. Those doors being off is like a sign of pride. It's part of the whole thing. So don't give me that. That was stupid.
It said the parents were afraid for their kids to ride in a vehicle with no doors.
Hogwash. I don't buy that at all. But there's one thing he said I do feel some sympathy for. It says that appearances matter. Okay, now, and I'm not meaning to project. I think of a kid that's like going to CCD, Cincinnati Country Day, and all of a sudden there is an appearance in a face forward, and appearances matter. These kids are looking like toward future connections and everything. Now, I don't think anybody in their future job market is going to remember when mom busted them down a notch and made them earn back their things. But to a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old, when they're so self-centered at that point, it probably seems like that to the kid at that moment. Like it's a life-ending disaster. So
and I want to go back to what you said a little bit ago. The mom drives what'd you say, a Porsche and a
Jaguar.
And a Jaguar. So she's expected to be taken seriously when she's driving a Porsche and not knocking anyone that, I am not everybody knows me, knows my political beliefs, knows everything. I don't believe in punishing someone for being successful. So I don't care if she owns 100 Porsches or 100 Jaguars.
Right.
But this kid is supposed to take her serious when she's driving a Porsche and a Jaguar off. What did she say? She worked in tech and does okay.
Well, and not only that, but she goes to the extent of saying I have a Porsche and a Jaguar, not just saying I have two luxury vehicles.
So status is pretty important to her too.
Yes.
Yeah, status is important to her too. She mentions that she does okay, I think is how she worded it. X is very wealthy. I'm not going to assume that the X paid for the cars. I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. That really doesn't even matter to me. But I'm just thinking that there's other ways this kid could learn this lesson. Maybe by having him volunteer at a, maybe him working with people who are underprivileged and things like that. But I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. I have two kids of my own. That it doesn't make me an expert. But I know that your actions speak louder than words. And I know that, by making him do things, those are his actions, but your words and your actions are still you're driving a Porsche and a Jaguar and telling people on Reddit that you drive a Porsche and a Jaguar. So I'm having a hard time believing that she's leading by example. I think she's I think she's pissed, and I think she's rightfully so. But I think there are other ways to teach him the value of a dollar and to teach him, how to not be a jerk. But I think that
humility. He just needs to not be a butthole.
Exactly. But in many ways, I think he's acting. He's mirroring what he sees.
So I've left this comment up here for a while, and because I would be remiss, and Joe Heather would be remiss if I didn't say it, that I was almost a victim of asphyxiation in Joe Heather's vehicle, driving from Sardinia to Moorhead because there was a hole in the floorboard and fumes came up through the floorboard. but I was happy for the ride. It was all good.
I mean, shoot, you rode in my Pinto, Aric.
I did ride in your, and then, well, that's not even the worst of it. I rode in that blue thing too that almost killed me.
That blue thing. Well, yeah. Well, hey, we were haughty around my parts. I had a vehicle named after an animal too. I had a lynx and a Pinto. So
a Pinto is
it's a horse.
It's a horse.
I'm thinking it's a bean.
Not the bean.
Well, that too. Looked like a bean, named after a horse. Okay, Becky says, good for the mom. Too many times parents do not believe their children or child is bullying others. She recognized it. Has she gone overboard? Maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
Dennis says, the dad is around. He's in the kid's head. Now the mother's trying to correct a bad situation the best way she can. Will says he loves it. She recognizes it, took action. What she is doing with the extra money saved from child support, doesn't know. Maybe dad is more angry because he thinks she's pocketing the money and not using it for the kid. No doubt he's a jerk, though.
Great point, Becky, about the, we were talking about the fact that she's willing to accept that her kid is being the jerk and being the bully here. And to the last, was it Will? Who was it?
Will.
Whoever mentioned that. That's kind of what I'm saying. I don't claim to know what people's, annual salaries are, but when you say I do okay in the tech world, I don't know that typically equals a portion of Jaguar. I don't know. Can
I make a comparison? Have you ever seen those celebrity breakups, or like when a professional athlete or somebody is married to somebody that's not famous? So they demand, like $300,000 a month child support. It's kind of like, I can maybe imagine one of those situations a little bit, where we all know that it doesn't take $300,000 a month to support a child. I wish I made $300,000 in a year. I wish I made $300,000 in 6 years.
In a decade.
But that being said,
it's all relative, though.
Yeah, it's all relative. Yeah. So I think she is doing a wonderful job. I don't want this to make it sound like I'm yelling at this woman. I'm not.
No.
But and she's recognizing that the kid's being a butthead.
And she's probably panicked a little bit, because she's probably panicked a little bit and surprised and again, I feel for her. But I just think that this is a good lesson for all of us parents. I mean, we're so quick to blame and not be willing to accept any responsibility ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I just can't help to think, again, I go back to this, when you're driving a Porsche and a Jaguar, and I can't help to think that she hasn't rubbed off a little bit on her kid, and the dad has rubbed off on the kid as well. I think the kid probably has a good bit of both of them in his actions.
Because I know what I would do to my child.
Howard says here.
What, Aric?
Howard says dad seems to be paying but not staying. That's
good point. And I always feel like in these segments, Aric, that you push out here for us, I always feel like it would be much more helpful if we could hear from every party. Like
the people's court.
Well, yeah, like I want to hear from the son, I want to hear from the dad. I kind of want to hear everybody's perspective.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, that doesn't happen.
Depositions in our AITA court.
To be lighthearted here, I could see the kid going on camera. It's like, and he would sound like this. He would. His name is probably Chauncey. And it'd be like, my mom is so unfair. I cannot drive in the Porsche. She made me drive in the Jeep. I'm eating crap.
You sound a little bit like
Buddha.
You sound a little bit like the fake dad in Ferris Bueller. It's like,
like a cross between Thurston Howell and George Peterson.
George Peterson.
Hey, Mom, you're an a-hole.
Chad says the community service idea is a great idea. Becky needs a Porsche, although I beg to differ, because Becky said he was going to divorce him if he got any of those cars he had pictured in his status the other day. Joe Heather Arnett said, I never died. We covered the whole in pop, and I never died from drinking the pop either. So
when I read Joe Heather's comment on my phone, I'm old school. I don't like the big phones because they don't. I thought it said, you never died. We covered it in poo.
That's what I thought it said.
Did you think it said that too?
I thought it said that too, because my eyes got popped. I kind of went.
But here's the sad part. Like I see this, I read, you never died. We covered it in poo. And I didn't bat an eye. I thought, well, it's Brown County. It very well could have been covered in poo. Any given night, you miss a curve and you end up in a field covered in cow shit. I mean, it could happen.
He would have been thankful to have the Jeep on that night to get him out of that situation.
Especially if
doors.
certain of our friends were driving, the possibility of that was very great.
I have bovine excrement on my Porsche.
Speaking from someone who's actually had cow feces on his car, splattered all over his car, from a car accident. It's
Did you hit a cow?
well, you know the story. I didn't hit a cow.
No, I wanted you to tell the story. That's why I
Oh,
prompted.
well, my lovely wife of almost 20 years, she didn't just hit a cow. She hit several cow. She hit cattle, and yeah, she barreled into these cows. Actually, I won't go into the whole story. It wasn't her fault at all. I would rat her out if it was, but it wasn't. There was someone bright lighting us, and we couldn't see the herd of cattle that were crossing the road, and she hit the herd of cattle. And
Hence
needless to say,
bright lighting you.
one of them landed on our hood, and I heard it oomph when it hit, and then I heard another one say, yeah. And so, long story short, she totaled my car and killed 5 cows.
5?
Yeah, 5 died. And she
Were
had
they
many
set up like
many
dominoes.
she had many weeks of cow nightmares, cow mares, and yeah.
Knocked
So
the
it was
crap right
rough
out
all
of
the way around. It was rough all the way around. You don't
Comments
but-
like, did your husband have a beef with your wreck?
No, it's
Well,
it's a cattle drive.
The funny thing is like that every November that post on Facebook pops up in my memories, and to see everybody making the jokes. I remember Darren said something about T-boning, and like there were all kinds of
Utter disaster.
cattle humor. And here's the funny part, and say she might get pissed for me saying this, but like I'm getting these posts on Facebook while I hear her like in the other room like crying because she's still upset and shaken from this wreck, and I'm like, I don't know whether to laugh or like listen to go help her or like shush her or whistle at her so I can read the cattle comments, the bovine jokes, bovine jokes. But anyway, yeah. So the good news about that is we had an SUV, and they said had we been in a smaller car, we would probably both be dead because the big cow that she hit stopped just before our windshield, and they said had it been a lower car, it would have probably come through the windshield. And the sheriff deputy actually said the last call he had been out on for a farm animal hit by a car, the person unfortunately did pass away. So we were very blessed, and it's kind of fun to go look back, but it's very sad for the cows that didn't make it.
Did she lay on the horn?
So it could no, it wasn't. It was too fast. It happened too fast. So yeah. So if I get in trouble for telling that story, maybe I need to put out an "Am I the asshole" out there for.
Yeah, this will be a personal AITA the next time.
Cow jokes.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're on to topic 3.
All right. So I promised a short one. You know, I got to thinking the other day. I don't know what brought it up, but we were talking. You know, we were texting back and forth some ideas for topics or whatever, and I got to thinking about a topic that from my youth, and thinking about my bedroom, and thinking about the posters that I had on my wall. And so I thought it'd be fun to talk about what posters we had on our walls, maybe to get some people chiming in about what posters they had on their walls. And I also thought we could maybe back it up in case you didn't have posters on your walls. Looking back, who did you admire that you would have liked to have their posters on your wall? So, what do we think? What posters do we have? Brady, I know you had posters on your wall. Aric,
did.
I'm not sure if you did or not.
I had a few. Go ahead, Brady.
I had 2 police posters. Not the band.
As in
As in Deputy Ralph Foltz. Yeah.
Signed and autographed. Our federales.
All of our years in Sardinia, that's the only Sardinia police officer I could think of. And that was probably way before my time, and I'm not sure he was ever a deputy. It just sounded good. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Sardinia history.
I'm pretty sure he was a deputy.
I had a black light police. It was the Zenyatta Mandata album cover in black light. I had a Prince Purple Rain poster, and I had a okay, let me make sure I get this right. Heather Thomas poster.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Locklear or Thomas?
Thomas. Heather Thomas.
I'm asking. I'm not asking
Oh.
if what your poster was. I'm asking for a preference.
Ooh. Yes.
Yes. T.J. Hooker or
Adrian Zmed.
Adrian Zmed.
Yeah. Those are my posters, and
So Heather Thomas, right? Is that what you said?
Yes. Heather
she was
Fall
in a
Guy?
pink swimsuit.
Fall Guy. Yes.
Fall Guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lee Majors.
No, I did not have Lee Majors poster on my wall.
$6 Million Man.
Actually, I had a $6 million man fan club sticker on my door.
So you did have Lee Majors wear.
Sort of. And an autographed picture of the TV show SWAT.
SWAT.
Hang on a minute. So is Howard saying he also had a Heather Thomas pink bikini from Fall Guy poster, or was he the one saying that?
Ooh.
Brady, did you have that same poster?
Ooh.
Yeah, that at Spencer's, that was like one of the number one sellers. And I actually think I bought that for one of my friends for Christmas too.
And Linda Liming allowed you to have that on your wall.
She was a police officer.
Linda was a police officer?
Heather Thomas. No, I was just trying to. Well, my mom did lay down the law a few times, but
Becky McConaughey says Ralph Macchio, please don't block me. Never. I'm a huge fan of Ralph Macchio and the Karate Kid and the Outsiders.
We wax on poetically.
Now, Brandy had a life-size poster of Hulk Hogan.
Brother,
who did?
Yo, brother. Becky's sister, Brandy.
Oh, I got you. So I was going to ask Becky, the Ralph Macchio poster, was it a get up from one of his movies? Was he in his
skivvies?
Or was he in his denim from the Outsiders?
Or was it like a poster from Tiger Beat?
Ooh, yes, Tiger Beat.
I'll run down my posters real quick while we take
Joe Heather had Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper.
Joe Heather, interesting story real quick here. A couple years back, went to see Rod Stewart at Riverbend. And if my wife were on here, she would have a kind of get back at me story from the cow story. The Rod Stewart concert, I ended up having the time of my life. I just went to have fun with my friends and ended up being one of the best concerts ever. Didn't realize how many songs that man had that I knew. But Cyndi Lauper opened for Rod Stewart, and she was fantastic as well. So still have that Cyndi Lauper poster.
Becky says Karate Kid movie poster, Karate Kid 1, 2, or 3. Or
well, 3 didn't have Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, 3 did.
Yeah, 3 did. We sure?
Yeah.
There was the one with the girl that was Kid. Yes, the next Karate Kid was the one with the Karate. What was her name?
Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank. Yeah. So my posters, I had a life size, and when I say life size, I don't just mean height. I mean
girth.
It was huge. Rock and Roll Express poster. It was a grower, not a shower. And huge Rock and Roll Express. I mean, first off, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson from the Rock and Roll Express, life size weren't that big. So it was bigger than life size. I would say it was 7 feet tall by 5 feet wide. I mean, it was a huge poster.
Wow.
I had a life size Road Warriors poster. Actually, Road Warrior Animal just passed away here recently, Brady. I know that was a hard hit.
Yeah.
That would be the sheep herders, Aric, what you were just doing.
Yeah, that's right.
I had a life-size Larry Bird poster that I hung on my ceiling. Don't judge me. I had a life-size Michael Jordan poster with the actual height chart, measurements on the side, which I, stood up to many a time feeling inferior. I had an Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads, the cover of the tribute album. I had a Led Zeppelin poster. I had 2 Michael Jackson posters. One of them he had on the Beat It gear or get up, and one of them he had on a yellow sweater and white pants. It was a sweater vest. Shut up, Aric. It was
I don't know why that's funny.
the man never wore that in his life except for posing for that poster, and of course I had it.
I can imagine like one of those ugly Christmas sweaters. Like
It was like a baby chicken yellow sweater vest. And then he had white jeans on. And he had his glove on.
Why? That's what he was singing in that poster.
Chad asked how big my room was. I didn't have these all at the same time. Chad.
I was
That's
wondering.
a great question. Yeah, but again, I made room by putting the Larry Bird poster on my ceiling. And to finish it up, I had a blacklight poster, Brady, but I don't remember what it was. I just remember having one. And my female poster, I had a Missy Hyatt poster.
Oh, Missy!
You remember Missy Hyatt from
Yes.
NWA, WCW wrestling?
Oh yeah.
Aric, if you would, will you Google Missy Hyatt poster?
I will.
And the Ralph Macchio poster that Becky had too. I want to see that one.
Missy Hyatt. I bet she's going to come up with a sparkly cocktail dress in her big hair because that was Missy Hyatt. I thought she was quite the cat's meow.
So what was she wearing in the poster, Todd?
Missy Hyatt. This is going to go with what Joe Heather Arnett says. I have a very good memory. I actually do, except for remembering what I'm supposed to do day to day or what I did yesterday. I have a great memory from my ute. But she had on a white bikini bottom and a red T-shirt.
Oh.
I'm looking for the proper poster here.
I'm okay if you show the improper one.
I can't find the one you're talking about.
Just bring a Missy
wait.
Hyatt. Oh.
Are you sure you didn't have those colors reversed?
I might have had them reversed.
Because I did find this one.
We're talking 30 years ago? 32 years ago?
Missy Hyatt.
That's it. That's the poster I had. No, that's what I said, didn't I? I say white bikini bottom and red shirt. No, I did. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said red bikini bottom, white shirt.
No, sir.
That's her Pro Wrestling Illustrated T-shirt.
Can you zoom in or?
Yeah, can you zoom in?
Yeah, can you zoom in? No, I can't.
Okay.
So that's that. But that is the action. That is the exact poster I had. It was your typical what was a poster size back then?
Or was it that one?
No, it was the one before.
I think that's a page from a magazine. It looks like.
Yeah. Howard says that Missy Hyatt dated Jason Harvey from the Wonder Years. That's amazing. I did not know that.
So speaking of some comments from the audience, Kelly Liming with Sean Cassidy and Duran Duran.
My sister had a Sean Cassidy poster.
Chad with Magic Johnson and Kareem. And
man, Chad was a Laker fan.
Yeah.
Which means we would have been sworn enemies as a Boston Celtics fan during the 80s.
And Becky said it was Karate Kid 1, she thinks.
Wow.
Mr. Rogers, yeah.
Ooh,
exactly.
Was he wearing a cardigan?
All right, so my posters.
Pull over.
Yeah, I pull over. I did have Huey Lewis in the News, the sports album cover.
Nice.
Hugh
Lou in the New.
Hugh Lou in the New. What else did I have? Seemed to be the only one I can really remember. I wasn't big into posters.
I purposely made a subcategory because I didn't think you were in the posters. So looking back, whose poster would have you liked to have had on your wall?
Phoebe Cates.
Yes.
Hobie
Catez. Guys, and I'm not. I saw a picture of Phoebe Cates. It was like a poster, and she was just wearing a swimsuit. Like it is striking just how incredible she was.
Indeed.
There's some actresses from back in the days like, well, that doesn't age well. The hair's out of stop. That Phoebe Cates, that she's roll tide to this day.
Yep.
Well, I recently watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High again, and this is I think we've talked about this, but this could be a topic. The idea of movies that have we talked about movies that couldn't be made today that were made?
Yeah.
Have we done that?
Yeah, we've done that.
There's nothing about Fast Times that could be made into a movie now.
No.
Sadly, which again, this is going to ruffle our feathers or whatever Brady says again, but it should be able to be made now, but it couldn't be made now.
Well, but the thing is, honestly, it's probably more true to life now in 2020 than it was. I mean, just for regular people, like even out here.
Yeah, but it's still like when you watch it, like a lot of those movies don't hold up. That movie still holds up. It's just a great movie. But yeah, Phoebe Cates, who'd she marry? Kevin Kline?
Kevin Kline.
According to Howard there, Kevin Kline, which Kevin Kline definitely outkicked his coverage there.
Oh, he outpunched his mate.
I'll chime in and take up for Kevin Kline. Kevin Kline was a handsome dude.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Older.
I'm saying
he's older.
Well, he's much older, and he's kind of normal looking guy. I mean, he's not. I mean, Phoebe Cates, come on.
He's not Sean Cassidy.
Hobia Cortez.
Barry Sanders, according to
Hobia.
Craig Smith there. So what other...
I have a debate going... with Craig. I don't know who Craig, I'm not sure I know Craig Smith, but thanks for chiming in. But I have a debate going that Craig would probably like to partake in with a buddy of mine, a friend of ours who I was an Emmitt Smith fan. This particular friend was a Barry Sanders fan, and we constantly have a debate back and forth who was a better running back. So
Barry Sanders.
I bet Craig Smith would like to chime in.
Barry Sanders.
I say Emmitt Smith.
Barry Sanders.
I'm guessing Craig's going to say Barry Sanders.
Well,
sorry,
Barry
you guys have been wrong
Sanders,
before.
Barry Sanders did what he did behind a flat out garbage line. I mean, come on.
The Lions.
Yeah.
Lines.
So I don't think that's even a question.
Yeah.
Although, I mean,
question.
It's a question, but I mean, Emmitt Smith, I mean, he lasted a long time because he had such a great offensive line in front of him.
Throw it back to posters.
And Howard said Marcus Allen. I don't know if Howard's chiming in. Marcus Allen is a better running back, or he wanted that poster.
He had a poster on his wall. Debbie Harry.
Oh, Debbie Harry.
Fifth grade or sixth grade me would have loved Debbie Harry on my wall.
Miss Deborah, if you're nasty.
Let me see. There was something I had in my mind. It flew right out of my ear.
Aric, I can't imagine you wouldn't have Styx posters on your wall.
Well, you know what? I didn't really discover Styx until they were already broken up.
Yeah. I remember when you discovered them.
Yeah. It was a thing of, gee, I like that song. Gee, I like that song. Gee, I like that song. And the same band sung them all, but it were different singers. That's when I discovered.
Well, and I guess I'm thinking back to about the time I think you were the one who introduced me to Styx, or at least got me into Styx. I'm trying to think that I would have probably still been in prime poster hanging demographic at the time. I guess you would have been out of that at that point.
Yeah, maybe.
I had an Eddie Van Halen poster where I would play my guitar at. This weekend posters.
Yeah. And that song just jogged a memory. I think I did have a Johnny Bench poster. Maybe I had a Johnny Bench poster.
Sky Point to Joe Morgan.
Exactly. Man, it's been a rough several months for Baseball Hall of Famers, let me tell you. Lost Joe Morgan this past week. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think I had a Charles Barkley poster too, now that I think about it.
Well, that's odd.
Rebound.
Considering your like the Celtics.
I was a Barkley fan. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a Jordan poster too. I Celtics fan, but basketball, this could be also another topic. I mean, to me, there hasn't been better basketball than there was in the 80s since. But I seem to remember having a Charles Barkley poster, which I think it was life size. I had a lot of life size posters, they were popular there for a while. Every poster you bought of a basketball player or was a life size poster. And I think the fun thing about that poster was it really gave you an idea that Charles Barkley was not near as big as what he was
advertised.
Advertised. The man probably wasn't
rebound.
I say this as a short dude, but the man probably wasn't an inch over 6'4".
Well, he was advertised. He played 6'6", wasn't he? But
6'6". I think he was advertised. I think he was more like 6'4". And I can't think of very many players like that who were advertised. A lot of them advertised a little smaller in the pro leagues. I mean, of course, Kobe Bryant, I think, was advertised as bigger than what he was, and the way you kind of can see that is if you see him. Yeah. But if you see Kobe standing next to LeBron,
yep,
he was what?
Hulk Hogan was labeled as 7 feet tall, and he was probably about 6'8". And after his spinal compression, he actually shrank to like 6'6". True story.
Interesting. All right. Good topic number 3, and a good show. Kind of went off the rails on the AITA, but I think it was good discussion, and appreciate, as always, our listeners, viewers chiming in. I think it really adds to what we do here. I'm glad we've kind of gone this route and allowed people to chime in during the broadcast or the podcast or whatever you want to call it. But
can I piggyback here? Can I piggyback here, Aric? And also, again, I really think that bring everybody chiming in and everybody kind of participating has really breathed the new life into our podcast. So it's really, at times where we're kind of at a loss for words, which is hard to believe. None of us are at a loss for words usually, but it really helps us kind of keep things going, and it kind of makes our side tangents a little more worthwhile. So thank you guys for chiming in.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you guys for chiming in. Again, I think this new format.
Thanking me for chiming in.
No, I'm not thanking you guys, assholes. Hillbilly Jim was taller than Hogan. Anyway, I really do like the fact that people are chiming in, and it makes us feel much better about ourselves as opposed to three of us talking to no one.
All right. With that, once again, we'll do the housekeeping duties. There's our audio. You can find us in all these different locations on the bottom of the screen, most anywhere you find podcasts, really, but our home website, anchor.fm/play-it-by-ear podcast. On YouTube, remember our change in YouTube. We are not going to repost these videos. They'll just appear on our channel as videos for all the different episodes. So if you want to watch the episode after the fact, go to YouTube, go under videos, and find it there. Facebook, yes, please mask up. Social media, Facebook. Most of you watching us here on Facebook, Twitter, Play It By Ear Pod 2, which we're also broadcasting to through our Periscope app, and Instagram at Play It By Ear Podcast with underscores under all those words. Interact with us at Play It By Ear Podcast 2020@gmail.com. That's our email address. And you can leave a voice message also at your podcast provider by clicking the link. And finally, if you'd like to support what we do financially just to help us pay the bills, and we're not, again, looking to get rich, but you can go to anchor.fm/Play It By Ear Podcast. I think I forgot podcast there. Should be Play It By Ear Podcast support. And you can, again, make a small donation. And we're
a large one if you feel compelled.
Exactly. That's larger. There, it's better now. Play By Your Podcast.
So we're driving a Porsche and a Jaguar.
I was going to say, I would like to drive a Porsche and a Jaguar. And I'd like to discipline my children for that. Brady got it.
Yeah.
Can I throw a little, Aric? Can I throw a little special thing in there as well?
Absolutely.
Us all being educators, I'd kind of like to just kind of give a nice little shout out to all the educators out there who are kicking a lot of butt here with the way this year's going. And I know our students aren't listening or shouldn't be listening to our podcast, but they're doing great. Everybody's doing great. Support your teachers, support your educators and your principals and things like that, because everybody's doing a great job. And I was telling my students today that, we are 9 weeks into our school year, and even my fourth graders understood this, that everybody expected us to go a couple days or a couple weeks and then be shut down again. And, because they are, washing their hands, covering their faces, doing all the things that we're asking them to do. They have gotten us through one entire 9 weeks of school that I don't think anybody thought we were going to get through. And I know every other school around is kind of doing the same thing. So just a shout out to everyone involved in education. You guys are proving a lot of people wrong who thought we wouldn't be able to do this.
Todd.
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to jinx this, but I think that I don't think that it's one of those times where I don't think we get enough credit as a people, as a group. And I think that everybody's doing a great job, and there's a lot of griping and complaining, but meanwhile, we still have kids who depend on us, and they're doing a great job, and so is everyone else. So I just want to throw that out there. I don't usually get personal, but thank everyone who is supporting education right now.
Amen to that. All
Amen.
right. Look for us. This was a special Tuesday night this week due to the Vinyl Countdown having a show tomorrow night. So
yeah, come out. Big Ash Brewing.
Wow.
Yes, go
Big
support
Ash.
local bands. Big
Ash.
Brewing.
Big
Next week will be on our usual Wednesday evening at 7. We will send out our invites, and Becky McConaughey's threatening to tell stories on me and Brady. The forum is open, Becky.
Becky, I would like to personally invite you, and we can compare stories and see who has the funniest stories. So yeah, to answer your question, special guests are always welcome.
Yes. All right. With that, look for episode 32 on audio on Friday. We'll release that. Join us for episode 33 next Wednesday.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.